So, you've got a house to sell. It's a seller's market. What could be better, right? Well, for the most part, you're right. But let's make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble in probably the best seller's market that we're ever going to see in our lifetimes. I want to tell you how to avoid trouble. Let's get into it. Hey guys, how you doing? Derek here from M1 Realty. I'm the broker owner, founder of the company. Started in Ferndale, Michigan in 2014. It was myself and a laptop on the third floor of an office building. Fast forward today, we've got a storefront right at the corner of 9 and Woodward, the heart of downtown Ferndale. I've got a team of agents that are all-stars and are waiting to help you, whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, rent, whatever you need, we've got you covered. So we found ourselves in another year of really, really strong sellers markets, and that's awesome if you're a seller. I've literally been in this business 20 years. I've never seen anything like this market from the standpoint of being a seller. You're absolutely in the driver's seat right now. So that's an awesome spot to be in, and I just want to make sure that you're able to maximize the value of your home without any negative downside. Because what I've started to run into, and this is, now that I'm thinking about it and really looking into this, it's been kind of a progression over the last few years of sellers kind of cutting corners and taking liberties to the point where they're finding themselves in legal jeopardy. And I'll kind of explain what I'm talking about here. So what I started noticing last year was a much more extreme seller's market than what we find ourselves in right now. Hopefully it stays that way. But, towards the middle of the year last year, what I started noticing was people putting their house on the market and not really putting a whole lot of effort into their house. Like things that would normally never, ever, ever fly on the listing side. People were just, with dirty dishes in the sink and sweat socks on the couch, and you just walk in, the house is dirty, and people not really making an effort to make it appealing. Even agents, maybe not doing professional photography with drone photos like we do, things like that, but just kind of cutting corners because they knew that it was a house for sale, so somebody's going to buy it, and probably you're going to get multiple offers on it. So why put that much effort into it, right? So, it's valid. Houses were still selling, so it kind of justifies them not putting a whole lot of effort into the sale. So now, fast forward to this year, and I've started to see this a little bit more and more of sellers getting to the point where they're doing unethical and potentially illegal things because people are still going to buy the house. And I'm hoping that I just had a run of bad luck, but I'm kind of hearing it from other agents too, so I just want to address it. If you are thinking of selling your home this year, good on you, because this is probably the best time. I don't know how much longer this kind of market is going to last. So, if I was in a position where I had to sell my house right now, or I wanted to, I would jump at the chance, because you're going to get top dollar for it. Especially right now, we're at the end of April, early May. The market is super favorable and for sellers, so why not, right? And I'm not going to give specific examples of addresses because for obvious reasons, but we've had a couple situations pop up here where recently we closed on a home, and come to find out, the disclosure, long story short, there's foundation issues with the house that were hidden at the time of closing. When we did our inspection, the ground was frozen, so we couldn't really tell that there was issues with the foundation because it was hidden. They actually drywalled over literally a crack that thick in the foundation that you can see right through to the outside. That's a problem. You're not gonna know in January when you do your home inspection that there's an issue, except in March or April when everything starts melting. Next thing you know, you got a puddle of water in your basement that shouldn't be there, and the seller in this instance had indicated on their seller's disclosure that the foundation was watertight with no evidence of leakage. Well, now that we have had a couple foundation repair companies come in, they've shown where they kind of hid that, even to the point where the seller flat out lied to us at our final walkthrough and said that they were just mopping up the floor of the basement when reality what they were doing was mopping up a spot where it was leaking because they didn't want us to see it, because they wanted us to be able to go and close. So they're in a little bit of trouble for doing that. And really, like in my experience, I've sold 1,500 plus homes over 20 years in the business. Like in 2009, when every agent was going out of business, I sold 109 homes that year. I think 107 of them were listings. So I've been on the listing side probably more often than I've been on the buyer side of my career. But stuff like that. That's I personally, as an agent, I always tell my sellers, just be truthful. If there's an issue, let everybody know. This is not the time to be like being cutesy and kind of hiding things. And like, this is a legal document here, the seller's disclosure. If you are found that you've hidden a defect, you're going to be there's going to be some liability for you, and there's going to be in this case. And luckily, in my career, I've only ever had one instance where it was the same deal. We bought a house in January, and not we, but my clients did. I sold them in January, and then in March, everything started melting, and next thing you know, there's a river going through the basement. In that instance, I just called the agent back up and said, listen, we're going to take them to court unless they want to pay to waterproof the basement. So they went and waterproofed the basement. For my clients, everything was all good, and they lived happily there for several years. In this instance, the sellers appear to be trying to be kind of cute about it, and even though they lived in the house for over a decade before my clients bought it, now they're trying to say they had no idea and this probably just happened. There's no way that it just happened. So at the end of the day, we got documentation. It's not going to be a great outcome for the seller. Now, another scenario that we're running into is this deal hasn't closed yet, but one of my clients is looking to purchase a property, and the seller just decided to take it upon themselves to carve out literally almost 2/3 of the lot and just cut it in half. After we were already under contract on it, after they advertised that it was a half-acre lot, now they want to make it a quarter-acre lot. That's not going to happen. That's not going to fly. And they're putting themselves at liability because, for obvious reasons, you can't advertise one thing and then do a bait and switch when it's time to close. That's just, it's just common sense stuff that some of these sellers are just, they think they can get away with it right now because, what are they going to do? They're going to peel off half of that lot, and then I guess try and sell it for just as a vacant lot and make an extra 15-20 grand. I don't know what their thought process is on it, but it's that again is not going to end well for them. As far as when I'm working with sellers in this market, my philosophy has always been throw everything at the wall. It's just going to get it sold that much faster and get you that much more money. So yeah, we've never skimped on, we've done professional photos in all of our listings. We do drone photos. We do virtual tour videos, you name it. I'm not going to spare any expense on my end and any time and effort on my end to really, really, really promote that property, because I don't care if it takes a day or 100 days to get it sold. My name's behind that, and I'm going to make sure that when I list a property, you're listing with me for a reason, because here's what I'm going to bring to the table. I'm not going to cut corners on my clients. I don't care, if I lose a little bit of control after it already goes on the market. If they want to stop cleaning up after themselves and the house doesn't show immaculately, I'm going to give them that feedback every week, but I can't control that. But what I can control is what I can control, which is my marketing program, our 48-point, marketing plan of action that we have for all of our sellers. And I'm going to stick to my end of the listing agreement. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that house sold quickly for top dollar. So, am I probably wasting a little bit of money by doing everything that I do for each listing? Probably. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Because the market's going to shift at some point, and those agents and those sellers that got into the bad habits of cutting corners are going to be hating life when their houses don't sell and mine still do. So, the only constant in this real estate business is that it's always changing. So, You know, you look back 15 years ago, and every third house down the street had a for sale sign in the yard, and you know, banks were offering huge incentives to investors and buyers to just buy stuff, and people were picking up houses. I sold a house in Ferndale for $6,000 in 2009. That tells you how bad the market was then. And it recently, probably 2 years ago, sold for $125. So that just, you know, illustrates, you know, where things were versus where they are now. And I'm not saying the market's going to crash, because I don't think it will. We've talked about that on several videos, but the market's going to shift, and it's going to be at some point much more favorable for buyers than it is for sellers. You know, 80% of the time historically, it's a buyer's market, not a seller's market. We've just been in a really, really long extended seller's market right now, but it's not always going to be that way. But I'm kind of getting off the point. So if you are looking to sell your home anytime in the next 6 months to a year, just do me the favor of just be forthright with, you know, if there's anything wrong with the house, somebody's still going to buy it. You could have a basement that leaks. There's a buyer out there who doesn't care. There's a buyer out there who works for a foundation repair company and is just looking for the chance to, you know, pay 10 grand less for a house than the house next door, and just be able to repair that foundation themselves and just have the house they want to live in. Just don't lie about it. Like, it's common sense stuff, guys. So just do me that favor, whether you use me to list your house or not. Please, 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 if you're watching this, don't do anything to get yourself in trouble, because I'm starting to see that. And there's with realtors, you know, there's the code of ethics, and then there's the way that we are custom of doing things. But there's also, at a certain point, here's what the law states. And you don't want to get on the other side of that, because bad things will happen, and I don't want to see that happen to you guys. So if you do have any questions about, you know, is this a gray area, is this right, is this wrong, please either just put a comment down below or reach out to me. My direct line, again, is 586-491-5622. You can always reach me at 248-561-6155. Email at dwerenka@m1realty.net. Facebook Messenger, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, carrier pigeon, smoke signal, you name it, I'm on it. I respond quick. I'm here for you guys. That's the whole point of me making these videos, is to keep you more informed and just ready to go out. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, get you in the best position as possible to accomplish your real estate goals. So thank you again so much for watching, guys. I love making these videos for you. I really appreciate all the response that I'm getting from them, and I'm going to keep pumping these out if you keep watching them. So appreciate it, guys. Talk to you next week. Thank you so much. Have a great one.